Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. Late night here on Tuesday as we just wrapped these Western Conference play-in games. Now going to take a look at the Eastern Conference battles here between the Heat and the 76ers, as well as that Bulls and Hawks game. I've got a number of picks that I've already got in. If you are in on the Discord, you already know about those picks as I give them there first. But I'm going to get into those here after just a quick recap of how we did on the night on Tuesday. And you can see, not a great night. Minus 1.8 units didn't come through as that Kings and Dubs game was a complete blowout. Obviously, I thought that was going to be within double digits. So I put 2 units, which is where we lost the bulk of everything that we had there. And then Brandon Ingram didn't play the most of the fourth quarter, which I projected him right at about 30 minutes. If he had continued to play in that fourth quarter and played the last 7 or 8 minutes like he normally does, he would have been well over the 30-minute projection I had for him. Either way, that did not come to fruition. And we'll see about Brandon Ingram in this next game here as the Pels now have to take on the Kings to make the playoffs. But let's roll right into my first bet from that Hawks game against those Chicago Bulls. Going with another fade of a big man and his rebounds, which is a very high prop. Once again, we took under 12.5 and 13.5 for Domas on his rebounds on Tuesday night. And now we go to Clink Capella here to go under 12.5 against this Bulls team. He has gone under in both meetings versus them this season. He's only at 12.5 rebound chances and 8 rebounds per game in those 2 games. And granted, we did have Onyeka Okongwu out there, the backup center for the Hawks, as well as Jalen Johnson, power forward for the Hawks, who's a very good rebounding power forward. And those dudes definitely ate into Capella's numbers and his minutes in general, right? But I do like the fact that Bruno Fernandes is probably going to get about 18 to 20 minutes in this game, the backup center for the Hawks. So that should keep Capella's minutes under 30 to about 28, maybe 28 and a half, which is what he's been averaging in his last 10 games. And he has not gone over, because he's only gone over 3 times in his last 10 games, averaging 11.2 rebounds in that time frame, about 17 rebound chances, right? But now he's playing the Chicago team, who versus centers has allowed the 3rd fewest rebounds per game in their last 7. They also are allowing the 8th fewest on the season in general. So this is not just a small sample size of them playing well against centers. It's been that way for the entirety of the season. And I don't really think it's because Vooch is one of the best rebounding centers in the league and that he's keeping these guys off the boards necessarily. I think it's a lot to do with the fact that when the opposing center is on defense versus Vooch, he's out up at the 3-point line because Vooch is oftentimes above the break and taking a number of shots from up there as well. Also likes to play make as a sort of playmaking center. So you do get this opposing center that's guarding Vooch further away from the basket on defense, allowing for fewer rebound chances. And that's got to do more than anything with the fact that they're so good at limiting centers to getting those boards. So we're going to ride with that again with Capella. I would caution against taking the points under. Bulls not nearly as good at limiting points to centers, and Capella has gone over that number in both games this season for the point prop. Keeping it to this game, we're going to go with Trey, but we are going to take him to go over. And the fact that I like his assist prop here at over 10.5 for minus 104 on Caesars should also tell you that's why I don't like Clink Capella to go under, because the majority of Clink Capella's points come from Trae Young throwing that lob after the pick and roll, right? And so I do think Trey's going to have his way with the assists, but that's a lot to do with the Chicago defense and what we've seen from them all season and how we played opposing point guards against this Chicago team all season. We consistently go under their points and we consistently go over on their assists because that's how they play defense. They pressure the crap out of the ball. They get the ball out of the hands and they gamble as well. They go for steals and they get some, but they go for them. And when they don't get them, they're left giving up a ton of 3-pointers. In fact, 3rd most on the season overall for Chicago because of that very reason. That's why Trey has gone over on the assists in 4 of his last 5. This team gives up a ton of stuff to spot up shooters and to catch and shoot guys. So Trey's going to have his options. Once that defense pressures him too heavily, then he's going to have his options for guys like Bogdanovich. And he's also going to have his options where he's running with Clink Capella towards the basket to throw him a nice easy lob. So I really like that play to consistently give him a lot of assists in this one. If you look at the way that the Chicago defense plays, like I said, they limit point guard points to about the 5th fewest on the season, but they are giving up the 7th most assists per game to the opposing point guard as well. So I think this is another good opportunity for Trey to go ahead and get his, as he's done so consistently against them. If you want to take the PA, the points and assists, I wouldn't tell you not to, because there was one game over these last 5 against Chicago where he went under on the assist, but he had 38 points, I want to say, maybe 34 points around there. So it could go either way at times, but way more consistently, 80% of those last 5, right? He's gotten the assists and not the points. Moving over to that Heat and 76ers game, I've got an under for another center, but we're taking the points, rebounds, and assists combined for Bam Adebayo. The 32.5 there is something that he has not done in 8 straight versus Joel Embiid. In fact, he's only gotten 32 or 30 or more one time, and that was 32 in a playoff game a season and a half ago, we'll call it now, almost 2 seasons ago. But in that time frame of those 8 games, he's averaging 21.3 PRA, points, rebounds, and assists combined, and he's getting 31 minutes per game. Now, that might go up a little bit in terms of his minutes in this to maybe 33, 32 in that range, but not necessarily enough that he's going to climb over when he's been going so far under on the PRA, specifically when he plays Joel Embiid, right? Now, when he's played the 76ers team without Joel Embiid, he's done much better, but we do expect Joel in this game. Whether or not he's at full strength, I can't say, but I can say that his hulking presence down low is going to be something that you can definitely rely upon, because even as he sort of slowly weaned his way back into playing shape here over these last 5 or 6 games, they've immediately just skyrocketed back up to one of, if not the best, defensive interior defense, the interior defensive team in the league. And that's entirely Joel Embiid, right? Because when he leaves, they go to a bottom 5 defensive field goal percentage inside of 5 feet, right around the rim. When he comes back, now they're right back to limiting points in the paint and points right in, like, even closer to the basket than just the extended paint. And that's where Bam's going to live, is the extended paint and obviously everything down low. If he wants those jump shots from 15, 20 feet, then Joel's happy to let him have them. But I do he wants to go to the bucket a little bit more, and he wants to get those assists. But that's another thing that I expect Philly to be able to limit, as they've been the 3rd best team limiting assists over the course of the last 10 games and over the course of the last 5 as Joel has come back. So not as much to like for Bam Adebayo. We're going to take him under the 33 PRA that he would need in this one. Quick reminder while I've got you here, we do have that Discord live. I'm giving these picks out a little bit earlier than I can with these videos, as I get these out as soon as I can to you guys. But everybody in the Discord is getting these bets and these looks as we're talking to each other here, man. I'm getting a lot out from everybody as well, in addition to handing out these bets that I'm making each and every day here throughout these NBA playoffs. So jump in, got the description or the link to the video in the link to the Discord in the description of the video. So definitely want to check that out and get in on the action with us. Final bet we have here for Tuesday, until we get into that live stream tomorrow that we have each and every weekday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Also get that going for you guys on the weekends at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on the weekends. So jump in there. We're going to be back on Wednesday, getting some finalized bets here for you, some player props. I take you guys through exactly how I do everything, and you use the tools that I use in front of you guys, so you can see exactly how we find what we find, and not just take the bets and run, right? We like to make sure that you know what you're doing as well as we move forward. But this is the final one that I found, which was Tyrese Maxey for now, and I'm liking his points and assists in this one. And I mean, he gets more assists with Joel, so that's a big reason for why I like these assists. The points, he's killed Miami this season, and 2 of those games were were without Joel, but one of them was with him. So I'm not really worried about the with and without Joel stuff. In fact, Maxey's better with Joel Embiid on the floor. A lot of guys are, but he definitely is, because there's this misconception that once Joel's off the floor, Maxey's just his team and he's going to go and be much better, but he's just so much more efficient. Now, the volume increases without Joel, obviously, but even with Joel, the efficiency is so much greater. 129 offensive rating when he's played with the big man. And when he hasn't, he's at about 112 individual offensive ratings. So there's a lot more going on in terms of his shot making. When you have Embiid on the floor, he takes a lot more of that offense and the focal point of the defense, I should say, which does allow Maxey to get a lot more open shots. As you can see there, 58% over the last 5 games since Joel came back, as opposed to the 48% that he was shooting from the field in those previous 10 games while Joel Embiid was still out. So I really like him to come back and keep getting his. He also averages 6.8 boards with Joel, assists with Joel out there, rather than the 5.6 assists that he's getting when Embiid's not on the floor right now. So any kind of Embiid out there is good for Maxey, even if he's not 100%, which we don't expect him to be, but we do expect him to be able to help Maxey get over this 29.5 points and assists. And that is all the time that I have for you guys in this one. Like I said, going to be coming back Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you are tuning in to the live stream as I bring you right up to the first tip of that Miami and Philly game, which is going to be a good one, I do believe. Much more so probably than that Hawks and Bulls game, but plenty of value still to be found on these player props as we get some finalized injury reports and the like. So definitely jump in, head into that Discord when you get a chance. And until I see you next, happy betting.